1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, winning an NBA championship isn't easy. Some of the greatest basketball players to ever step onto a hardwood floor have tried for 10, 15, and even 20 years to reach the pinnacle of success, but still came up empty. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley, Reggie Miller, Dominic Wilkins, Elgin Baylor, and the list goes on and on and on. Really, it does. And yet, the Golden State Warriors within the last decade have won it not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 times. It's future legends like them that NBA players want to trade jerseys with, not ringless players who run around calling themselves a dynasty. I think we know who I'm talking about. Anyway, as of today, the Warriors are still the defending champions, and while many NBA fans around the world have already cast off Golden State as chumps this year, trust me when I say that when the playoffs come around, no one wants to see the Warriors. Absolutely no one. You know, if you ask a hooper which team they think is the scariest team in the NBA today, they'd probably say Giannis and the Bucks, or Tatum and the Celtics, or maybe Durant and the Suns. But honestly, guys, I got a question for you. Who'd be afraid of these teams if they were missing their second best player and an important role player? I mean, for the Bucks, imagine them without Drew Holiday and Bobby Portis. For the Celtics, imagine them without Jaylen Brown and Robert Williams. For the Suns, imagine them without Devin Booker and Torrey Craig. No one, absolutely no one, would really fear these teams if they were missing those two players. And heck, if they were without those two players, they'd be the hunted. They'd be the easy money. They'd even be barbecue chicken, for crying out loud. But yet, that's what's going on with the Warriors at the moment. Andrew Wiggins and Gary Payton II have been MIA as of lately, and all of a sudden people have just dismissed the Warriors and said they're done for the season, that their dynasty is over. I mean, Charles Barkley himself said that Golden State is quote-unquote toast. The playoffs are just around the corner, and as of today, there are only a handful of games left, but whether you want to believe it or not, both Wiggins and GP2 will be back for the postseason. And when that happens, I guarantee that Sir Charles at that point will have his expression changed from this to this. Anyway, I want to ask you all a question. What makes a team scary in the first place? Is it offense, defense, experience? Maybe a combination of all three. Well, look, when it comes to offense, the Warriors are still the best of the best. I mean, of all 30 teams in the league, they're currently ranked second when it comes to the offensive department at 118.4 points per game. And here's one scary fact that you might not already know. They're actually scoring more points per game now than they were when they went 73-9. Heck, to one up that, the 2023 Warriors are actually scoring more points per game now than they were in 2017 and 2018 when they had a healthy Kevin Durant. Sheesh, how crazy is that? So, say what you want about Golden State. The fact is, they get buckets. I mean, just look at Steph being ridiculous here. While being defended by one of the Holiday brothers, he goes left, then goes behind the back, then turns a jab step into a step back three. Sheesh, guys, absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I am getting a bit off track here. I can go on and on about the Warriors offense all day, but I want to move on to the elephant in the room, which is what the critics will criticize about, and that's defense. If I had to be honest, they do have a bit of a point, because the Warriors defense has been atrocious this season. Like, it's been downright horrendous. I really don't know what other words to use. I mean, everybody is driving right past the Warriors like they're a McDonald's drive-thru open 24/7. And although it's great that they have the number 2 offense, they also have the 25th worst defense in the league, allowing teams to score 118 points per game on them. Time after time after time, a blow-by collapses the Warriors' defense, and then from there, all hell breaks loose. Heck, from what I've seen of the Warriors so far this season, I'm sure that even Jackie Moon could blow by and collapse the Warriors' defense. But here's why I ain't worried. First off is Draymond Green. When Dillon Brooks said he's a better player than Draymond is, he was being absolutely delusional, because when Draymond is motivated, he's still the best off-ball defender the modern NBA has ever seen. I mean, just look at that stat line he put up against the Mavericks, which was arguably the most important game all season. In that game, he had an efficient 14 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and 4 blocks. This tells me two things. Number one, when he's motivated, which he will be in the playoffs, he's still a defensive anchor. Number two, if the Warriors meet the Grizzlies in the playoffs, Dillon Brooks is in big trouble. Anyway, look at what else the Warriors got for them when it comes to defense. Here's Kuminga guarding Luka. As Luka receives the ball, the young Warrior pokes it away, and within a split second, Luka already realizes that it's useless chasing after Kuminga as he races across the court for the easy slam. In case y'all don't know, JK is 6'8" and is top 10 in the NBA when it comes to pure athleticism, and he's slowly becoming a defensive beast. I mean, whether it's guarding the other team's best player, soaring in for a rebound, getting a block, or just ripping the ball out of someone's hands, Kuminga is becoming a defensive force. And the crazy thing is, there are 2 better on-ball defenders than him on the Warriors. I mean, Andrew Wiggins single-handedly kept both Tatum and Brown in check during the 2022 finals, and GP2, on the other hand, is still in the conversation for being the best perimeter defender in the entire league. I mean, Gary Payton to defense is what Kyrie Irving is to offense. And just like how we can watch Klay Thompson shoot all day, we can watch GP2 play defense all day. In fact, Klay himself tweeted once that he can watch GP2 play defense all night long. He's that good. And as we saw time and time again last season, no one is safe dribbling when he's around. Anyway, with these 2 players back in the lineup, the Warriors defense will immediately go from trash to elite. So now we got one of the best offenses the NBA has ever seen and an elite defense. Now, what's next? Experience? Well, I can go on and on about how the Warriors' Big 3 trio plus Kerr have more championship experience than like half the league at the moment, but I think Grant Williams said it best here when he talked about last year's finals.
Like, I still will say confidently to this day, they weren't the better team. You know what I mean? Like,
Golden State was not the better team.
Yeah, I would say that confidently. I would say they were a more disciplined team. I will say that without a doubt. Like, their discipline and also their history of being in the finals,
championship pedigree,
you say, that was real.
Yeah.
And I feel like at times, like when you go back and watch the film, like we had commanding like either leads or had opportunities where we went on runs, and next you know we just like turned it over 3 times because we missed 3 shots. Because we, instead of making the right read because we missed those shots, we started forcing things and just stuff like that. The discipline of just making the right play over and over and over again, we didn't play with. Well, they play the same no matter what. They're going to get the same shots. They're going to create the same looks. They know who the priorities are, and they're going to play with pace.
In any case, what Grant Williams is saying is that this elite offensive and defensive team is a well-oiled machine that doesn't make many mistakes. They're going to come at you time after time after time with the same high percentage plays, and whether they're in the lead or in a deficit, they're not going to stop coming. Sheesh, guys, talk about scary. Anyway, I want to move on to the personnels of the team now, just to show you how deep this team is. Now, when Wiggins and GP2 come back, the Warriors are going to have the best starting 5 in the entire NBA with Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney. Statistically, this 5-man lineup beats any and every lineup out there, including those of the Celtics and the Bucks. Probably the Suns too, but we don't have enough data on them yet. Then coming off the bench is going to be Jordan Poole, who recently has changed from the pool party to Magic Jordan. Then after him is Dante DiVincenzo, who's been absolutely outstanding. Then you got Kuminga, J-Mike, GP2, and Anthony Lamb. That's 11 deep. And honestly, I know Otto Porter was huge last year, but with the evolution of Kuminga, the resurgence of Klay, the addition of DiVincenzo and Anthony Lamb, I'd say that this team is even better than their 2022 counterpart, which won the championship. So guys, with everything said here, who would want to see this Warriors team in the playoffs? The answer is nobody. Anyway, what do y'all think our boy Dillon, a Dynasty Brooks, is going to say once the Warriors eliminate them again? That's the all-important question at this point.